Hello and welcome to another edition of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
That's my dad. We are continuing with our discussion for the all-time dream teams of each MLB franchise. Today we are discussing the New York Mets, talking from 1962 all the way up until today's time. What we do here, if you guys are just joining us, we discuss the best position players, so catcher through outfield, as well as starting pitcher, relief pitcher, closer, and we also, for the fun of it, talk about our favorite manager, or I guess our pick for the team that we want to lead this dream team into, as well as our favorite logo. Hint, Mets really only have one logo. Some requirements that we have is that you have had to have at least 3 years of team service time. So if you're some great Hall of Famer that just did 1 year stint with the Mets, that does not count. You have to give at least 3 years of your MLB career to this team, in this case the Mets. So let's just dive into it. We kind of ping pong going back and forth. So we'll start with catcher. Dad, who is your all-time franchise pick?
Mike Piazza, great catcher. I think he was with them for 12 plus years.
Yeah.
And I think then he ventures a few other teams, but literally was a great offensive catcher, not the greatest defensive catcher, but just home run wise and batting cleanup and everything else was a valuable part of the Mets during an era that they were very good.
Yeah.
So Mike again was an easy choice for the catcher.
I have Mike as well. I know some people might have Gary Carter as a possible choice. In this case, he is a backup. Piazza has better years as well as more years with the Mets, and of course that moment after 9/11 that will always be etched in baseball history. So Mike Piazza was a very easy choice for this pick.
Mm-hmm.
For first base, I have Keith Hernandez, and of course for our Seinfeld friends, that is of course an easy choice. Not just for Seinfeld, he really is the best first baseman in Mets history. He did have better years with St. Louis, but again, in terms, he still gave tons of great years, defense as well as offense, to the Mets.
And was a true leader, and he's now a broadcaster.
Yes, he is. Definitely, yeah. Loves the Mets.
Yeah, longevity, and again, defensively, a many-time Gold Glove winner.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great.
Nice game, pretty boy.
Yeah.
So for second, who do you have? I'll go.
Wally Backman.
Okay.
Wally Backman is my choice. A consistent player during the 80s when they were a great team, but he was the glue of the infield.
Okay.
So Wally, again, consistently very good, and again, a big leader of the Mets back in that era.
Yeah, Wally was my second choice, so I definitely see. I think there's a lot of these where we could go like one of two ways with the Mets. I went with Edgardo Alfonzo. More of a recent name. He had some really good years with the Mets, very consistent player, and had, I want to say, the most amount of years as a Mets second baseman. Daniel Murphy was also up there for me, too. I thought he had better years with the Nats, as well as Cubs. He had good years with the Cubs, too. But I went with Alfonso as my starting second baseman.
Interesting.
Yeah. Shortstop? Wait, we're ping-pong. You can go. It's fine. I asked you.
Bud Harrelson.
It's very interesting. All right, so who was your second choice here?
I didn't have a second choice.
Right, go bench. Weak bench, all right.
Because I had Bud, and don't forget, I mean, he was a true defensive shortstop for a number of years, and a Gold Glove winner, probably 8 to 10 years, and again, a big part of the Mets history. And if top 10 popular Mets of all time, he's in there.
I agree with popularity. I went with someone who ended his career with the Mets, kind of had a tumultuous relationship in the middle, but Jose Reyes. He had a lot of speed, great average, never had a Gold Glove as well, so you're right, my infield is going to make some errors and allow some hits. But I did with Jose Reyes. I really thought he'd be a great leadoff hitter for this lineup as well.
Interesting.
Third base?
David Wright.
Yep. David Wright is, of course, where I think we could easily agree on. He is where the defense is king for me in the infield. Even though he was a two-time Gold Glover, I think he could have gotten more without some injuries, if that makes any sense.
He was almost the Ken Griffey Jr. of the Mets. He just could not get healthy.
That's a comparison.
Well, thank you. One of the things with David Wright is he had great, in his 20s, he was so good, and then could not get past the back injuries. And then I think it was a neck injury after that one. It was great he retired as a Met, played one game and everything else. But if he did not get injured, he might have gone down as one of the best third basemen of all time.
So looking at his statistics, looking at that very few people in this generation stay with one team throughout their whole career.
Yeah.
They go after money or change of scenery. Is he? I know he's a Hall of Fame candidate, but is he making the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. I don't think his stats lend themselves
I agree.
to the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, he's just going to fall short. He'll be on the ballot for a number of years.
And I think he deserves to be in the Mets Hall of Fame. I think that's a
Yes.
simple choice. Um, 7-time All Star, 2-time Gold Glover, but no rings, no MVP season.
Yeah.
And I just think, again, injuries really hampered
Yeah.
what should have been, could have been a Hall of Fame career.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
Yeah. Moving on to the outfield. One of these names I had to look up a little bit, but left field I had Cleon Jones. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. Again, not positive, but he was the part of the '69 Amazing Mets.
He was a character.
He was a character. There was a shoe polish incident, I believe, if you remember that, with the Orioles.
Yeah. Yes.
That was Game 5 of that World Series. But not the greatest left fielders in Mets history, but I went with Cleon for my left.
I went with Kevin McReynolds.
Tell me a new name for me as well.
Kevin McReynolds, war number 14, was consistently the offense in a leadoff, in the cleanup position during the Dwight Gooden era. So when they had Strawberry and all those guys, he was the most consistent one of all of them. And again, highly thought of Met. He was really the one that's consistent. As Daryl and Dwight went through troubles, Kevin was the one who's always stable.
Okay, awesome. So for center field, I imagine you might have someone else from that era.
How about Mookie?
Mookie.
You gotta have a team with Mookie on it.
I know. I chose Mookie Betts for the Red Sox, but Mookie Wilson does not land on my center field list. Why is he on yours?
Again, leadoff hitter during the 80s when they were really, really good. A great character. Always some great quotes from Mookie. But again, he was the straw that got on base for the middle part of the order, Strawberry, McReynolds, and all that stuff. I think he was a high run producer and everything else. And defensively, he was okay. But again, just a character in the clubhouse and made it fun.
All right. I went with Carlos Beltran. Now, I don't like how Beltran ended his career with the Astros as a cheating DH, and I want that fully on the record that I don't think Carlos Beltran deserves the Hall of Fame. But he had a great time as a center fielder for the Royals as well as the Mets, and I think he might end up on my Royals all-time center field list too. Again, just very similar to Jim Evans, who we were just talking about with the Cardinals. 3-time Gold Glover, always a home run threat, always a stolen base threat. So he was dangerous in so many aspects of the game. Really a 5-tool player. Mm-hmm. And again, for the Mets as well as the Kansas City Royals, I really think that's the center fielder I would go with. But we'll talk about Kansas City some other time.
There was a guy named Tommy Agee that played with Cleon Jones that was a great center fielder as well during the 69, 70, 71 era with Tom Seaver and all those guys. That was a great center fielder as well. Yeah. So, yeah, there were some good ones in there.
All right, and right field, this is where I think we'll agree on, is Daryl Strawberry. Definitely one badass kind of guy. Just a true consistent all-star as well. But a great right fielder, both defensively, in my opinion, great arm as well as offense.
Yeah. He, Camden Yards story, he hit a home run at Camden Yards, a line drive to center field that went off the center field wall.
The green wall?
Correct. Yeah. On a line drive, people who were at the stadium said if that wasn't for that wall, it might have been a 500-foot home run.
He had power. He really had some
Never left 10
power.
foot off the ground.
Scary man in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
Moving into pitching, I'm very curious if anyone at home chose Nolan Ryan, because I think the easy choice here is Tom Seaver.
It is an easy choice. I got Dwight Gooden as, like 1A, if you didn't kind of have injuries and other kind of problems. But again, Seaver during the 69, 70, 71, he was the man.
Yeah.
And one of the
3-time Cy Young.
Yeah. And, he has to be the number one, but there's other great Met pitchers along the way.
Yeah, you could even argue for Syndergaard today.
Correct.
He's got to be in the conversation at least.
Yeah.
I love Nolan Ryan. I think he's going to be the franchise pitcher on a few other teams, but he didn't have great years with the Mets because he was just starting off his career in New York. So Tom Seaver is clearly the best Met pitcher on this list, of course, a Hall of Famer.
There's a guy named Jerry Kuzman.
Yep, he's also
a pitcher as well.
He's got to be in the rotation.
Yeah, so at one point they had like a fantastic four like the Orioles had, with 4 great starting pitchers, and that's why they won all the titles.
Yeah. So on the off chance, just like Bob Gibson talking about the Cardinals earlier, on the off chance that Seaver doesn't go 9 innings and you need a reliever and a closer, who gets the ball in the 8th? Who gets the ball in the 9th?
Well, I got Tug McGraw coming in the 8th.
Okay. Keep going.
You gotta have a team with Mookie and Tug.
Apparently, what a fun job for that seamstress. But yeah.
And then the closer is John Franco.
Okay, I went with Franco for my setup man, and I like John Franco. He's the second time he's appearing on one of these lists for the Reds as well for me. But I went with Billy Wagner for my closer.
Ooh.
Billy Wagner is a just lights out closer, great for the Astros as well as for the Mets. Jesse Orosco was definitely in that equation as well for me, just with the history of the '86. But Franco setting up stable, consistent John Franco, and then lights out Billy Wagner. And I think that's just a really great 1-2-3 punch for your pitchers.
You know what Billy Wagner and David Wright have in common?
They're on the same team at the same time?
Both from Tidewater area in Virginia.
Ah, Billy Wagner's from Virginia. Okay, cool. I knew David Wright's down from there. He went
to high school, same time, that the hotbed of baseball, but then they got drafted and all everything else, but they're both from that Tidewater area of Virginia.
Nice. We're from Maryland. That's why that's unique to us. Because Norfolk used to be a Mets organization. At
Correct.
Some point, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So then we talk about our the manager we want to lead this team, as well as, again, just a way to end with a fun logo for the Mets. It's not going to be that all interesting. But manager, Dad, who is managing your team?
Casey Stengel.
Okay. So we're going all the way back, I think.
All the way back to 62 when they lost 110, 15 games.
Yeah. One of the worst losing percentages
Zero
ever.
talent. And Casey had to put up with that. But again, slowly brought them to the,
So the person that built the team.
Right.
Okay.
In 69, Gil Hodges took over, but they built a nice little empire going through. In 69, they're world champs.
Yeah.
So Casey was there at the beginning, and I think he was a great manager, but had zero talent.
I went with, I know Casey didn't win the World Series there. Like you said, it was Gil Hodges. But I went with the other World Series winner, as well as a local guy, since we're close to D.C. with the Nationals, but Davey Johnson. He managed the team in the mid-'80s and had that '86 ring as well. But I think really either person would have been a great choice. I think the Mets have been, as long as you don't choose Bobby Valentine, the Mets have been blessed with a lot of good managers. So I think despite some up and down years, I think they've had some good stability leading the team. For the logo, oh my God, Dad, which one are you going to choose?
I would go D, all the above.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all the same. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thanks for putting up with our antics as usual. Hope you enjoyed the Seinfeld references. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. We're only 1/3 done our all-time dream teams yet. We still have 20, I think about 20 franchises to go. But yeah, give us a like, comment if you think we're numbskulls and we forgot your favorite player or something like that. And again, sound off in the comments. We appreciate your views and your time.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.